Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be learning how to make a cage art on a bustier. Cage art is very good for a very busty person. It helps pack their bust very well, and you can also use it for a normal bust. Like mine is 39, so this is for me. And as you can see, I've not covered this with the other Ankara. You're still seeing the rough work. So to make this, you need to cut two of your Ankara and one lining. You use one for your cage arts and then the other one to cover up this rough edge like this, and then you use your lining to turn the neckline. But if you don't have much, you can cut one of this Ankara, two lining, which means you're going to be doing your cage art on one of the lining, and then use one of this Ankara that you have to cover up the rough work, and then use the other lining to turn the neckline. I hope that is clear enough. So I'll be uploading a tutorial on how to cut this off the shoulder after this video. I already have a tutorial on that, but this one is another method. Okay, so, and as you can see, I padded my bustier. Padding it will help you know where to start and where to stop. Okay, but if you're not padding yours, you can just use your interfacing. So this is the wording I use. It's very soft, just to help me know where to start and where to stop, and to also give it a very soft effect. Okay, so on a normal, this is the wording I use for my bustier, but because I'm going to be doing a cage art on this, I use this soft one. So let's go and join this together. So guys, I have a tutorial on how to pad your bustier. So we have so many methods of doing that, but I feel this method is the easiest, so I'll be leaving the tutorial on the description box below. And after joining, this is what I have. So next, I'm going to get the middle of this line. I'm going to mark the middle of this line. So now we are starting our cage art. So I'm marking where I'm going to be sewing my boning. So in between this line, I'm going to mark 1 inch in between the line. So if you're not using a wording, you come down 1/2 inch, 1 inch from your neckline and stop at the underbust. So one boning is going to pass here, this one that I'm marking here. So because I'm using wording, because I padded this, it helps me know where to sew, where to start and where to stop. As you can see, my wording starts 1 inch below my neckline and it stops at the underbust. So if you're not using wording, you come down 1 inch from your neckline and stop at the underbust. Okay, so now I'm going to mark the distance between my underbust and my bust line. In my case is 4. Some people are 3.5, some are 3 inches. So if you're drafting your pattern, you should take note of that. So I'm going to mark that now. Excuse me. So I'm marking 5 here, which is very wrong. I'm supposed to mark 4 because my bust point is 11 while my underbust is 15, which means I'm supposed to mark 4, but I'm marking 5. I'm going to remark that later. So this is where another boning is going to be. I'm going to sew another boning here. So after marking this, I'm going to get the distance between this bust line and the underbust and divide it by 2. So I just eyeballed it. So another boning is going to pass there and another one at the underbust here like this. So all this marking I'm doing is where the boning is going to be, where I'm going to sew my boning. So this is the underbust. Another one is going to pass here like this at the underbust like this. Okay, another one is going to pass at the underbust here. So all these marks are where the boning is going to be. Okay, so you could just play with it. One is going to be here and the other one here and here. So we are going to mark that later, but now let's talk about the right boning you need for this. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to mark these other ones later. So for the boning, I have two types of boning. This is 1/2 inch and this is 1/2 inch, which is 0.25. This one is 0.5 while the other one is 0.25. So I'll be using the 0.25 on, which is the 1/2 inch. This one, I'll not use this one. This one is big. This one is light and easy to work with. So I use 0.25 boning. And as you can see, I padded my, just like I said before, I pad with a very light wording. Okay, so I'm going to continue marking this. Okay, so let's continue marking this. So this, I feel it was too wide, so I'm going to remark it. I'm going to mark 1/2 inch on both sides like this. So I'm using a red marker so that you understand what I'm doing. So I marked 1/2 inch on both sides. I feel it was too wide, So I decided to use 1/2 inch. Right, so I mark 1/2 inch on both sides and I'm connecting it towards the neckline. Remember, you come down 1 inch from your neckline if you are not using wadding. But if you are using wadding, this is just very good and it will show you where to mark. So make sure to use a regular boning. In case I did not mention, it's a regular boning, the sewable boning, not the plastic one. Okay, so we are not going to be using this blue line again, it's the red one. So next, from this middle line, I'm going to divide what I have from this middle line to my that line into 2. So what I have here is 4. I'm going to mark on 2. Okay, you take it down to your underbust and also bring it up towards the bust. I mean, neckline like this. I'll do the same to this side. You divide what you have from your middle line to your dart line. Okay, middle line to your dart line, what you have you divide by 2 and you're going to take it down to the bust, under bust, and upward like this to the bust line. So okay, we are going to go to the sewing machine and I will show you how I'm going to be sewing the boning, and I will remark this bust point and this other one too. Okay, so I'll be doing that on the machine and I will show you what I am doing. So let's move to the sewing machine and we'll sew our boning together. So this is it. This is how you're going to place it, your boning. You place it this way, the way it was curved. That is how you're going to place your boning. So I'm going to start from this bust point here, and remember that the boning has 2 sides that you can sew. Is a sewable boning, so it has a 2 side that you will sew. So you're just going to be sewing on one of the side, one edge. Don't sew on the middle, just at the side. If you sew on the middle, your needle might break or your thread will keep cutting. Okay, so just sew on the edge as I'm doing, and be pulling your fabric, be pulling it so that they will not squeeze or join each other. Okay, just the way I am pulling mine, be pulling yours like that. Make sure what you're doing is straight and neat. So my rope have cut and I'm going to redo this. Okay, so I'm done stitching on that side. I'm going to trim the thread and we are going to sew on the other edge. Okay, so I'm now sewing on the other edge. Just be pulling your fabric so that they will not join each other, so that you will not come and lose again, because after sewing you notice that one side joined when you are sewing. Okay, so just be pulling your fabric, make sure everything is flat when you are sewing. So I'm through with this other side and I'm going to go move over to the other that line and sew. So you keep your boning like this. You can measure this all out and cut in pieces, or you can just be sewing it. Where you stop, you cut. Okay, so like I said before, the boning has 2 edges. You're going to sew on the edge, not at the middle. Okay, and you start from your wadding, where your wadding starts, and stop at where the wadding ends. So right now my hand shifted and the sewing went in the middle. I had to lose it and start afresh. So I started afresh now. Just take it gradually and gently. Okay, so make sure you are pulling everything, make sure everything is lying flat. Okay, so adding wadding will help you know where to start and where to end. Okay, but if you did not use wadding, just mark 1 inch below your that neckline and you're going to stop at the under bust. So be shifting your boning, it's going to follow you. Just shift it and it will follow you. This 0.25 inch boning is very flexible. Okay, anyhow you twist it is going to go along with you. Just take your time gradually. It's not difficult as you see it or as you may think it is. Just use that 0.25 boning and you're going to thank me later. Okay, so use that boning and it will be very easy for you to do, right? So I'm done with this side and I'm going to sew on the other side. So I'm going to sew on this side too, and I'm done doing that. So I remarked my bust point, as I said earlier that I was going to remark it. So this red one is my new bust line, not this blue one, not this blue one anymore. Okay, so from my under bust was 4 inch, but what I marked earlier was 5. So you're going to curve your boning like this. Okay, this is how you're going to hold your boning, and I'm sewing on the red line I marked. Okay, my underbust was 4, but for the first time, at the initial time, I marked 5 instead of 4, so I remarked it now with the red marker, which is where I am sewing now. So to get your bust point, you check the distance from your underbust to your bust line. Whatever you have, that is what you are going to mark. So when you are drafting your pattern, before you cut out, make sure you measure, okay? Or even after you cut, you can still measure out your underbust. Mark from your underbust to your bust point, so that you know where to sew your boning. So I'm sewing on one side of the boning. Gradually be pulling your fabric so that it will not squeeze one side, okay? And be pulling it and be sewing it gradually. You're going to get it, okay? So when you come to where there is boning, okay, when you get to this point that there is boning, you're going to take it easy, gradually, so that you will not break your needle or cut your thread, okay? So you're going to take that part gradually. So when you get to this point like this, you just small, okay, so that you will not cut your needle, your thread, okay? And then you continue sewing when you are out of where there is boning, okay? So I cut this out here because I've get to where that is where it's going to stop, rather, okay? The back stitch. So you're going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to sew the other side of the boning. You remember I said that the boning has 2 sides. After sewing on the first side, you're going to sew on the second side. Don't sew on the middle, okay? You don't sew in the middle, just sew on the sides. So I'm sewing on the other side of the boning now. So if you're new to my channel, please hit on the subscribe button below and subscribe, like and share this video, and also turn on the notification bell so as to be notified each time I upload new video. Guys, if you have any question or you have any suggestion, you can still leave it on the comment below. If you feel something is not right, you can leave it on the comment below, because I'll just be showing you what I am doing for you to just watch carefully to see what I am doing. Anytime you get to where there is boning, you just take it easy so that you will not break your needle or cut your thread, okay? So you just watch and see how I am sewing this, following the curve of what I have or we have marked earlier, okay? So guys, don't bother if your thread is cutting, you can always fix it back, and make sure you are pulling your fabric just like the way I am doing now. Okay, make sure you are pulling it, make sure everything is flat so that you don't have any side folding. Okay, so my machine has motor, that is why it was easier for me to sew, as in it has motor, so I just sew straight and it wasn't that difficult. Okay, but even if yours doesn't have motor, you can still sew this very well. Okay, so there is a little bit fault on this one, so this place is falling inside as if it's this point is somehow, I don't like it, so I'm going to lose it and resew it. Okay, so that is what I'm doing now. And guys, always pull your fabric. I did not pull the fabric, and after sewing it, one part was kind of going in as if it's falling inside. It wasn't smooth and flat the way it should be. So always pull your fabric like this. Make sure it's flat. Okay, make sure it's flat when you are sewing. Okay, that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, so I lose that point and I'm sewing it back again. So don't worry if you make a mistake, you can just lose it and resew it. Okay, so I noticed that place was falling inside, it wasn't smooth, that was why I loosed it and I am resewing it. So you can still do the same, you always check your work. So now it's perfect. I'm going to sew on the other side of the boning now. Okay, so that it will not be double work for me. After sewing, I will lose the both sides. So I just checked it and I noticed it was perfect, and I am sewing on the other side of the boning. Okay, so always check your work before you sew the other side of the boning to be sure that everything is in order, so that you not come and be losing the two sides of the boning. To be a very big work. Like me, I hate to lose, but you got to lose now. If you make any mistake, you have to lose it. So now I'm gonna mark on this one. Okay, here I'm gonna sew on this. Remember, we'll divide the middle line and the bust point into two. Okay, I got 4 and I divided by 2, which is 2. Okay, so I marked 2 here. So I'm going to sew on one side of the boning first, and after which I'm going to sew on the other side of the boning, and I'm also going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so guys, remember I remarked my bust point line. So now I'm going to divide that bust point that I remarked and the under bust into 2. That is where I'm marking my red marker now. So the distance between the bust point and the under bust, I divide by 2, and I'm sewing another boning on that line. Okay, I did not use the other one I marked at the beginning of the video. Okay, because I remarked my bust point line. Okay, so now I remarked the distance between the under bust and the bust point line into 2. I divided them by 2. I divided by 2 and I marked. So that is where I'm showing another boning to give it more structure. Okay, so when you get to where there is boning, you just take it easy so that you will not break your needle or cut your thread. Okay, so I'm sewing another one on that line, the distance between my under bust and the bust point divided by 2. Okay, as you can see, I divided by 2, and I am sewing another boning on that line. Okay, so you can play with this. You can create as many channel boning as you like. You can add as many boning as you like, so just do what works for you. But for me, this is just perfect. Okay, you can still add boning on the middle line if you want, but for me, I didn't add any boning on the middle line. This is just the ones I added and it was perfect for me. So I'm sewing on the other side of the boning right now. Okay, so like I said before earlier, you can add as many boning as you want. You can also add more at the side, but this one was just perfect and okay, not too much and not too small for me, and it came out really good and beautiful. So this is what we have after everything. This is what we have. It's really easy to make, guys. It's very easy. Just use this boning that I tell you about now and you will like it. Okay, so as you can see, this is how it's standing so well. So you can add one boning here if you want, but I didn't want to do that. Okay, so I didn't add on my own. So this is so beautiful and firm. If you have a client that has a big bust, just use this method for them and they will thank you later. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Please like and share this video. I beg, make una like now, share the video. Okay, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and like I said, I'm going to upload a tutorial on how to cut this off shoulder bustier, and this is what we have after everything. So you could just use the other panel and cover this up. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what you're going to do, okay, and how you're going to turn with lining. So let's do that. Okay guys, so here is the one I used my boning on, and this is the other one I've sewn already. So I'm just going to place this on top like this. Okay, make sure that they align with each other, the bust aligned, and you sew the neckline and the side. Just join them together so that they will be one. Okay, make sure they align with each other very well. Okay, you sew the neckline together and the side, join it so that it will be one, and then you will now use your lining to turn it. Okay, so let's say I'm done joining this, and then you sew around. Okay, you use your lining and turn it. Okay, so let's say this is the lining, because my lining is not ready. Let me show you this. So you place your lining right side facing the right side of the fabric, you sew the neckline and you flip it over like this. So this is what you're going to get. I hope you understand. Just the way we normally turn our fabric with lining, that is how you're going to turn with lining. Thank you guys for watching. See you in my next tutorial. Bye.